The title of my speech is Save the World. Firearms should be universally legal. With regards to the safety of all people, firearms should be internationally legal. I will convince you all that each country should adopt laws which make firearms legal.
That went. Yeah, you hit something.
According to BusinessInsider.com in 2017, the U.S. is the only country in the world with constitutionally protected gun ownership rights and the right to bear arms. I will show you all the necessity for guns throughout the world. I am a legal gun owner with training who owns and carries a gun. This topic is relevant to you because we need to know our rights and we need to know how we can help others. I will display to each of you the necessity for guns throughout the world. I will focus on the safety firearms provide for all people, how the removal of guns does not make countries that once had guns any more safe, and more people using guns for suicide than homicide. Let us begin by using the United States as an example.
It went.
In the United States, firearms are utilized for self-defense more than they are used to kill others. Most people have a desire to keep themselves and their families safe. According to the National Rifle Association, guns are used for self-defense 2.5 million times a year. That is stated by procon.org in 2014. With 2.5 million people defended per year versus 38,658 deaths due to firearms last year, and 70% of those being suicide, people saved by firearms outweighs people killed tremendously. If guns are used for self-defense so much, there is no reason for them to be illegal in any country. According to the CDC, the act of using guns to threaten or attack someone are less than those who use guns for self-protective tactics. Guns are powerful, but in order to legally obtain a gun, one has to undergo many tests and pay fees, which typically makes the person a more responsible gun owner. When law-abiding citizens obtain guns, more individuals are protected from criminals who illegally obtain firearms or who try to commit heinous acts. The majority of people who legally obtain guns are going to use them for the correct reasons. Certain countries with stricter gun laws find little to no change in homicides. Australia had little to no success in lowering their homicide rates after their gun laws were enforced in 1996. And that is according to factcheck.org in 2017. In Australia, in 1996, they had 354 homicides. By 1999, it peaked at 385. And then by 2018, it had dropped to 273. The small drop in homicides, however, was consistent with most other countries, including the U.S., so it would not be accurate to attribute this to their gun laws. Latin America has some of the highest gun homicide rates in the world, despite in certain countries having relatively strict gun laws, raising the question, to what extent, if any, does tighter legislation help to lower homicide rates and violent crime in the region? And this is posed by InsightCrime.org in 2013. More guns would provide more protection to law-abiding citizens against homicide in all countries. Most gun deaths are not murders. Suicide will be carried out no matter what weapon is used. And over 70% of gun-related deaths are suicide, according to Vitana.org in 2019. And if suicidal thoughts are coupled with a plan, the suicidal individual will most likely commit suicide by any means necessary. And that is according to the U.S. National Laboratory of Health in 2012. Every place that has banned all guns has seen murder rates go up. Guns should, without question, be legal for responsible owners despite the misuse of firearms of some people to harm themselves or others.
We went to. There you go.
More often than not, firearms are used for self-preservation. An example of this is, according to the NRA, guns are used for self-defense 2.5 million times a year. And that is according to procod.org in 2014. Taking guns away from countries which once had firearms make no difference in the crime rate that that country. An example of this, Australia had little success in lowering their homicide rates after the gun laws were enforced in 1996, which is according to factcheck.org. And the majority of gun deaths are suicides. An example of this is over 70% of gun-related deaths are suicide, which is according to botana.org.